3, 2, 1.
How's it going, everyone? Todd Brown, That Racing Show. We got a lot to cover today. I'm going to do it concise here, but I want to talk about a lot of different people and situations. Everybody from Busch to Bubba Wallace to Daniel Suarez. Obviously, Tyler Reddick getting it done out there, to the wild restarts, to the track itself. Now, first off here, I just got to tell you, I'm outside. I'm out here on my deck because it's a beautiful day here in Concord, North Carolina. So there was no way I wanted to be inside taping this. So hope you enjoy the weather where you're at. But let's just jump right into this here, because I got to start out with Busch. Because I'm going to tell you, at the end of that race yesterday with his post-race emotions there, that gave me the feels. That's a guy who obviously misses being in a race car. And it's so cool, though, how he is still such a part of that team. He is a hype man for him, and that emotion just came through, which obviously Kurt is a very emotional guy, especially here recently. Let's take a listen to this.
You know, NASCAR family, it's my village, and it's just great to be part of. I'll be stepping away from full-time NASCAR Cup Series competition in 2023.
So as you can tell, he really misses being in that car, and I hope that somewhere along the lines here in the future that Kurt is able to get back out there racing. I would really love to see him get involved in that Cars Tour, because I think that would be some great news and some great racing right there. But outside of that, I hope he stays in the booth, because he brings some new commentary in there. I even think I heard him say one time yesterday, buddy. And that right there made me giggle, because that's, I just love personality, and he's obviously brought it out to the broadcast. Now, the other guy we're going to talk about right here is Bubba Wallace. Everybody knows exactly what happened with him yesterday and his own comments. If you haven't heard, let's take a listen.
Broke a toe link in the rear and then oil line. Just trying my hardest not to go down that slippery slope of self-doubt right here. 2 weeks in a row making rookie mistakes, 6 years in the Cup. Need to be replaced.
Now, it's obvious that Bubba puts a lot of pressure on himself. He's been known in the past to have comments like this after a race when he thought he did something wrong. I have to begin to wonder if the pressure of being with that team out there is starting to get to him a little bit more. It's obvious here with Tyler Reddick coming in and winning so soon with a brand new team that that puts more pressure on him to perform. And let's just be honest, with him being there since the formation of this team, he should be the lead guy of this organization as far as a driver. And now Tyler Reddick's coming in there and filling shoes and winning right off the bat like this. And I think it's going to be something that's going to put more pressure on Bubba. Hopefully he doesn't make any bad moves or anything like that to try to get a win. But also I hope for his own mental state, he's able to compete and not have these things like this happen. Obviously, he brings up a lot of conversations with a lot of fans. There's been a lot of pressure on him, a lot of it that he brought upon himself, according to most fans. But again, you know, I think Bubba's a pretty good racer, and I just want to see the racing be racing and drivers be able to compete as race car drivers, not everything that goes on with them off the racetrack. So hopefully that'll all become a thing of the past, and you know, he can just focus on racing and prove himself. But I must say right now, I think the pressure is mounting on him to perform with that 2311 team, and don't know where it's going to go along with the future, but it's going to be an interesting story to keep on following. Now, the other story we got to talk about here is Daniel Suarez, a guy I have a lot of respect for. And but man, that move yesterday on pit road, not the greatest move. Let's take a look. Now, if you follow my show, you know I love for drivers to be able to be themselves, to speak for themselves, and make actions that they want to on the racetrack. But these things on pit road like this, obviously last year, NASCAR put their foot down with Ty Gibbs about it, saying they didn't want this to happen. I believe they gave him a $15,000 fine. And I think with this right here, what happened this week, getting into two different cars, and especially with an official standing right there, thankfully the 48 didn't get squirrely and head towards any of the officials or anybody else. But still a move that shouldn't happen on pit road. And I do think it's something NASCAR is going to really address this time. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a heftier penalty come along. But something that I hope Daniel is able to not do in the future, or any other driver, just for the safety of everybody on pit road. Now, with that said, everything that caused Daniel's aggression right there at the end was because of the restarts. We had so many multiple restarts. And I'm going to be the first to say that I don't like the racing situation there. You basically have half a football field that goes down to what basically is the size of a interstate exit ramp in the middle of a hairpin turn. So it's setting up for all this action at the end of these races. Everybody's out there trying to win, and they know once you get through that turn, the rest of the cars are going to be spread out. It's going to be harder to get up there. So everybody's doing a bonsai move. NASCAR has set this up to happen, and it's not going to be the last time it happens if they continue to race under this format at the racetrack like that. Now, obviously, COTA is a beautiful racetrack. A lot of fans love it. It's a great visual out there, and the racing was pretty good for the most part, but those restarts like that there at the end, I mean, if you really look at it, about half of the top 10 right there during them restarts got eliminated from contention, and it's obvious. It's going to cause aggressions that are going to transfer over. Again, hopefully not on pit road again, but it's something that drivers put in their memory bank because they got knocked out of the way, and it's going to cause for more aggressive situations, which, like I say, all about rivalries and drivers doing that in a racing situation, but that right there, I don't like to see. I don't know what the answer is, maybe moving the start and finish line, or maybe redesigning that corner just for the Cup Series, because let's face it, that racetrack was not built and designed for Cup cars. You're trying to take a series that was not meant to race it at this racetrack and put them there, and it's going to continue to cause for calamity like this. But interesting finishes there, and it brings me to one of the other topics that I had in an episode the other week, which is single file restarts, something I think that NASCAR really needs to take into consideration on the road courses, because if you look at so many of them, you got a long straightaway right into a sharp turn, and in these cases, this is going to happen. You're bottlenecking everybody, and I mean, if you did this on the interstate, you just look at it. Everybody trying to get off exit ramp onto the interstate and all the other cars coming this way. It's a bottleneck. It's going to continue to happen. So I hope they find a way to make this a little less climactic with the finishes like this. And I do believe that a single file restart would be a great option to start looking at. Now, obviously, Tyler Reddick, I mean, man, you got to give all the props to that guy. The team, they were off pit strategies, got it back together. The time he made up after that one pit stop and just put them into contention. Man, that was some really great racing there between him and Willie B. And that was his race. That was his race to win or to lose. And thankfully he won it because he had the car all day. So great job to the team. Great job to Tyler getting it done. And I got to talk about one other driver who I brought up last week, and that's Corey LaJoie. Another strong finish. As much as I've talked about maybe SHR or some of the other teams, looking at Corey, I would love to see the Spire team just continue to grow the way they are right now and see them be contenders as a team with Corey, because that just brings more great racing, more great highlights and topics, and also leaves the door open for somebody else to get into one of these cars that's coming open in the future, and hopefully have more racing action out there with more contenders for the win. And I do think that Corey and Spire are making huge strides over last year to make something happen. So, and again, I said it last week, I believe it was, I can see Corey getting this win in Atlanta in the fall. So good story to keep your eye on. Now, the last thing I want to finish out here with is the road course racers that come in to run this race right here. Obviously, had some good runs and everything else. The 15 car, which I've been covering basically all year here, had a pretty decent finish. But again, this is going to bring into the whole story that I've said all year, I think is one of the biggest stories within the racing season. It's going to come down to if the 15 car can stay in the points. And with runs like this, they're keeping them in contention. Obviously, last week with or a couple weeks ago with all the points being eliminated for the Hendrick cars in the 31, it moved them up again. But you're seeing these guys start to stretch their legs and move in front of that 15 again. And the way it appears to me right now, it's going to come down to about a 33rd place for the 15 car here before the end of the year is out. So it's going to be a really strong story to see if they can stay inside of the top 33 or if that charter does come open at the end of the year. So as always, I want to hear your input on everything we talked about here today. Did you like the racing? Do you like the racetrack the way it is? What do you think about the restarts? Is there other options out there? What do you think about Bubba, Kurt, everything we discussed today? Because like I say all the time, that's why we're here, to talk racing, and I love your input. I hope everybody's out there enjoying the beautiful day like I am here I'm going to get off of here and have some fun with my grandson and throw the football around in the backyard. So I hope everybody enjoys their day. And as always, see you at the checkered flag.